With the recent RLCS EU Open Qualifier Event 1 coming to a close, there are plenty of talking points, and in this video I'm going to give a recap of what happened in the top 16 as well as give my thoughts on some of the biggest talking points of what happened. Alright, as you can see I've got the Swiss stage on the screen right now. You can see the table. There are mainly what you'd expect of the teams who will go through. Well, with maybe an exception or two with Oxygen down here. If we go down, we can see in round 1 EU got off to what we know as EU, and as you can see there are lots and lots of upsets. None bigger than Team Vitality losing to 100%. I don't think anyone, including me, saw this one coming. Honestly, 100% played really well. Like, obviously Vitality didn't play as good as you'd expect them to. I feel like it was kind of the Zen show for most of the tournament for Vitality, but let's not take anything away from 100% as well. They played very, very good, and as you can see in the next round as well, which we'll get onto, they took Karmine to game 5 as well, so clearly they're playing well. Other notable results, I mean, you can see Karmine doing what they do, 3-0, nothing really much to talk about here. M.32 over resolve, that was a really good series, and with M. There was obviously a lot of hype of them, obviously beating Gentle Mates to qualify in the upper bracket in the qualifier stage, so there was obviously a lot of hype there, and they did pull through in the end, although it's a bit nervy. Gentle Mates versus BDS, now this, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see coming. I was quite worried about Gentle Mates. Obviously with Gentle Mates getting swept by Endpoint to lose in the upper bracket of the qualifiers, I expected Gentle Mates to kind of get swept by BDS, I'm not gonna lie. I knew they kind of had the potential, but I felt like it might have taken a bit of time to properly achieve their potential, but they came up the block swinging and swept BDS. That was kind of dominating fashion as well. Honestly, Gentle Mates, which we'll get on to late in the video as well, they had a stellar tournament. Honestly, probably the biggest good surprise for me, the biggest, I don't want to say overachievers because that's disrespecting them, but they played really, really well beyond my expectations. Oxygen, yeah, didn't have the best tournament, to say the least. Everyone, including the pros themselves, I guess, had Oxygen kind of not too high, but like definitely making playoff bracket, especially in their performance in the off season as well in the NA tournament, beating out, obviously as we see now, the #1 team in NA and G2. So this was a kind of very disappointing start and a very disappointing tournament in general for Oxygen as well. Coming on to their counterparts as well, Moist, who also had a very disappointing start to the regional, obviously going 0-2. This time they did manage to reverse Street Swiss though and go through to a top 8, but once again Moist have always kind of slow starters, and they don't make it easy on their fans, including myself. Always go into game 5s, always kind of stressing out their viewers. And finally we've got Magnifico over 3-1 over Belly Goal. Magnifico are a team I rate quite highly actually, and I expect them to at least challenge for the major. Obviously there seems to be like quite a set top 4 in the region right now, but if there was a number 5 team I'd expect to challenge, I think this Magnifico roster should do it, and I think will hopefully do it as well. Moving on to round 2, these rounds kind of went as expected for the most part. Obviously Karmine Corp beating 100%, although like I said it went to game 5, so 100% showing up there. Gentle Mates beating Redemption. Gentle Mates, yeah, I mean once you saw them beat BDS you kind of knew they should beat Redemption as well. You kind of knew that they kind of found their groove again. The big upset for me though, Magnifico losing to Team 3. I just went on about how I expected Magnifico to really be that team to like challenge that top 4 we have now for major, but results like that just don't help themselves, and Yeah, I mean 2 overtimes. It was a close series, but definitely one Magnifico should be winning. Endpoint as well, showing on their good form as well, taking the win, going 2-0 as well. On the low matches, Vitality kind of bouncing back. It's still having a bit of a rough tournament, but 2 tough matches for them as well, to be fair. Now Oxygen and BDS had the unfortunate scenario of playing each other and BDS being the ones to come out top in quite a close series, game 5. This was probably one of BDS's turning point, because if they go in 0-2, I'm not really sure how the mental would be in that situation for them. Obviously I'm not part of the team, so I don't know, obviously. But from here on in, after BDS won this series, they really performed to a high level. They kind of just really upped their level of gameplay, and maybe they just had a bit of a slow start, but once they won this, they really found the rhythm. Oxygen going down to 0-2 round. Yeah, I mean, guess they just paid the price for losing their first match. Belly goal as well, winning in game 5. The other notable series in this round 2 is the Moist Resolve. Moist losing 3-1 to Resolve. Resolve, don't get me wrong, Resolve are a good team, but Moist, you really should not be losing that, and we know Moist are slow starters. They go down to the 0-2 round, where they do bounce back though. They do win 3-1, trying to look to reverse with Oxygen beating certain game 5 as well, so a bit closer than Oxygen would have wanted, but I mean, at least they got the job done. Vitality as well, talk about close series against Redemption, game 5. The series was very close up until that game 5, where Vitality kind of blew them out in the end. There was quite a tragic own goal from Cash in that series, I remember. Don't really need to talk any further on that one. Magnifico bouncing back, BDS 3-0 and 100%, which is impressive considering 100%'s previous results of taking Karmine to game 5 and 3-0 Vitality, so that's a very impressive result from BDS as well, finding their groove. And to qualify on the round 3 higher matches, Gentle Mates get their revenge on Endpoint, beating them in game 5, and I believe they were, yeah, the number 2 seed, which is, and honestly, very close to number 1 seed to us. 10 game differential as Karmine, who beat Team 3 3-1, securing themselves the number 1 seed, and securing themselves honestly as a great contender to take that number 1 team in Europe. As for the rest of Swiss, kind of go to how you expect it from here on out. Magnifico taking the win against Endpoint, which I believe is a quality win considering Endpoint's recent form. BDS winning in game 5, bit scary for them, but obviously they do win, so it's a good result for them. Vitality winning in game 4 against Belly Goal, just to secure them through to the playoffs. Moist 3-0 Redemption. Oxygen beating Resolve in game 5, which I think is also a decent win for them as well. A win they're expected to make, but still a good win. 100% running out of steam there, losing 3-1. Honestly, I think they'll be happy with their run. It's a difficult run, but I think they took, obviously they beat Vitality and took Karmine to game 5, which is very impressive. And on to round 5, Team 3 showing with their good form as well, getting themselves into the playoff bracket as well, making top 8, that's impressive for them. Moist as well, 3-1ing Belly Goal as well, so that's also very good for Moist as well. Reverse sweep Swiss as well, that is once again a win they're expected to make, but that's still impressive as well. So not let your mental drop too low and to reverse sweep. It doesn't matter how you get to a top 8, as long as you get there, it does not matter. But on to the team that couldn't quite manage the reverse sweep, the Oxygen. They got probably the toughest draw and Endpoint. We've seen how well they've been doing recently, and they do fall short. Once again though, Endpoint really impressive, showing up. Honestly, I think full credit has to go to Endpoint for their recent performance. Very impressive. Oxygen, I mean, definitely a disappointment for them considering the off-season tournament, but I mean, maybe it just wasn't their day. Moving on to the playoff bracket, starting with the quarterfinals. Now let's be honest, these quarterfinal matches, they were quite boring. They were quite one-sided. They were quite the stompings, to be honest. Starting off with Vitality and Moist. Honestly, one of the closer quarterfinals of this regional, despite the 10 goal stomping from Vitality of 7-3. There were a couple overtimes there. Honestly, I thought Moist didn't play too bad there. Joyo hit a really nice shot in this in this game. I think it might have been game 3 or game 2. I can't remember which one. But he hit a very nice sidewall double touch, which honestly was probably the highlight of Moist series, to be honest. Because other than that, Vitality just kind of stomped them, to be honest. Nothing too much more to say. The world champs, fine in form. Now, Gentle Mates Team 3, similar story, to be honest. One overtime which Team 3 did manage to win, but other than that, Gentle Mates looked really, really good. Again, continuing on their form from the start of the top 16 stage, and yeah, securing themselves into the semi-finals. Magnifico BDS, this series really disappointed me because I thought this series was going to be a really good series. I actually had Magnifico winning this series. Stupid, I know. But BDS played really, really well, to be honest. Honestly, it's probably, maybe other than the first 3 games of the Karmine series, probably the best I've seen them play. They, as you can see by the scorelines, they dominated Magnifico in 2 of the 4 games. The other 2 games as well, you just kind of didn't think Magnifico could win, to be honest, despite them being close games. Yeah, BDS played extremely, extremely well. And Karmine Endpoint, honestly I expected this game to be a bit closer as well, given Endpoint's recent form, but Karmine too strong. Look at the scorelines of that, 3-0, 4-0, 4-0. Endpoint did not score after game 1. That is quite quite incredible by Karmine as well, and just, yeah, just averaging 3.5 goals a game. Yeah, just a stomping by Karmine Corp. Actually, even though the quarterfinals weren't good, Championship Sunday with the semi-finals and the grand final more than made up for it. Starting off with Gentle Mates versus Team Vitality. Gentle Mates becoming the first team in history to eliminate this Team Vitality roster from an RLCS event, and they did it in some style as well. First 2 games they came out of the block swinging, dominated their matches. Vitality looking just stuck on defense, a little lost, not sure what to do to get out and get some offense going, so they had to take that time out. They bounced back pretty well. Gentle Mates themselves bounced back from their first loss of the series very well as well. For Team Vitality though, they're never out of it. They'll always push you to your limits. They managed to make it to game 7 after winning a 6-minute OT, and then in game 7, what a match that was as well. You think Vitality are taking it 2-1 up with like 15 seconds to go, and then the unthinkable happens. They concede a kickoff goal straight after their own goal, and then they lose the OT 8 seconds in. Quite a tragic way to lose, but Gentle Mates, let's give them some credit because they were incredible. They more than deserved to win that match. I think they played so well. Vitality, we know the beast they are, the team that almost feels like they have plot armor in RLCS events. They just do not lose, much less, they've never been eliminated from RLCS tournament. But yeah, this season is a new season, and Gentle Mates starting off right, taking down the current world champions. Moving on to the second semi-final, Karmine Corp versus Team BDS, and this match was arguably better. I still think the Gentle Mates Team Vitality series is the best series of the season so far, but this series definitely delivered as well. A reverse sweep by Karmine Corp. Team BDS started off honestly on the same form they had on the Magnifico series. They started off swinging, they quite literally dominated the first 3 games, even though this match, game 3, was a quite long overtime. Exotic as well, really performed, popping off he was. I think, what, in game 2 he had like 1200 points, that was insane. But yet you can just never count this Karmine Corp team out, especially a team with Rise on it, and Vatira as well, to be fair. The last team to reverse sweep a best of 7 before this match was a team with Rise and Vatira on it, and would you look at that, would you guess? This Karmine Corp team reverse sweeps Team BDS. I don't actually really know what really happened. Whether it was just Karmine Corp starting to really play well, or Team BDS starting to put their foot off the gas a bit. I think it was a bit of both, to be honest, but Karmine Corp once again really deserved it. In Game 7 as well, they really stepped up as well. That was a very impressive performance from them. Couple highlight goals as well from both Atal and Vatira. Rise once again just really good in his role, getting lots of really good demos, opening a lot of space for his teammates, and Karmine Corp looking to be the #1 team, building this super team around Vatira to be the #1 in Europe and the #1 in the world. Reverse sweep to make the grand finals. And now into the grand finals, Karmine Corp versus Gentle Mates. It wasn't as good a series as both the semi-finals, but it was still quite a good series in itself. Karmine Corp starting off hot, winning the first 2 games. Gentle Mates striking back after their timeout, tying up the series to make it 2-2, but Karmine Corp were just too strong in the end. They go ahead and win the first event in Europe to be the #1 team in Europe, and in my opinion the #1 team in the world right now. Very impressive stuff. And it's just in the way they did it as well. Just with the reverse sweep, and then to come out against this Gentle Mates team who looked so good this entire event. And honestly, it kind of only really went one way, to be honest. I could only really see Karmine Corp winning it. And yeah, they performed very well. Top 2 teams out of Swiss, the top 2 teams in the grand final. And yet the #1 team out of Swiss wins the grand final as well. Karmine Corp on top. And that's it for my recap of the RLCS EU Open Qualifier Event 1. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and leave a like if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more of these videos. I'll have a top 10 goals of the event coming soon, so subscribe to my channel so you don't miss that. That's it from me. Peace.